As a key location on the Maritime Silk Road, Georgetown Penang has attracted expatriates from Europe, China, India, and Southeast Asia. Among this diverse group of people, there are also Japanese people.
According to my research, the Japanese arrived in Penang in the 19th century, well before the Second World War. So like in the 1880s, we already have record of Japanese staying around this Sintra Street in Georgetown.
The early Lobo Jintra was referred to as Jipunke, which was divided into two distinct sections, Upper Jintra Jipunke and Lower Jintra Jipun Huaike. Adjacent to Upper Jintra, there exists an alley known as Lorong Kampung Malaba, also referred to as Jipun Sin Law. This historical evidence suggests that the Japanese community has established a presence in Lobo Jintra during its early days.
Even though now we know Japan as a rich country, but it was not the case in the 19th century. 19th century, Japan started to be modernized. You have this Emperor Meiji, what you call the Meiji Restoration, but many Japanese were still in very poor living condition, especially those villagers, farmers, and fishermen. And there's a reason why many of their daughters have to travel overseas to look for living and try to earn money to help their families in Japan. Of course, in the early days, many of the Japanese who came here involved in the prostitution, and we call the girls as Karayuki-san.
The term Karayuki-san is used to describe young women who left Japan in search of opportunities. Kara is an archaic term that broadly refers to mainland China, and Yuki signifies one who goes. The honorific suffix san is attached to personal nouns or specific professions to convey respect or courtesy. Originally, Karayuki-san are meant to be Miss Gone to China. However, its meaning gradually evolved over the time, particularly during the mid-19th to early 20th centuries, to signify Miss Gone Abroad.
But later, we also find there are other Japanese who started to arrive in Penang. They were like running stores, photographers, and the dentists. Yeah, we have quite a number of dentists stationed in Penang. And they were doing very good business because they charge more reasonable prices compared to the European dentists. And that's why they're very popular among our local residents.
Throughout history, the allure of travel has remained a constant in human hearts. Even a century ago, Penang stood as a renowned tourist destination. What truly astonishes is the presence of Japanese geisha in 20th century Penang.
Okay, interesting. If you look at the postcards, old postcards, you give you some hint. Tourists come to Penang, first they admire the big waterfall in our botanic gardens. And also monkeys, they saw pictures of the monkeys in botanic gardens. And the next will be the street scenes of old Georgetown. And surprisingly, they also Japanese, they call geisha girls. So that was, at one time, Penang was well known to offer these geisha girl services. Yeah. So it was like, I would say, a tourist attraction. We have Penang offer this special service to the guys.
Unfortunately, both the geisha and Karayuki-san departed from Penang in 1920. This exodus was prompted by the introductions of the new regulations by British government, which prohibited the prostitution's activities.
Yes, unfortunate. Yes, 1941, the Japanese government decided to launch invasion attacks in various parts of Asia, including, of course, we know, is the Pearl Harbor. So immediately these Japanese were affected. In beginning, some of them were caught by the British police, yeah, and some were sent to prisons, but later the Japanese came. Some were released, like those Japanese in Penang, they were released from the prison. So they sort of became like assistants to those new Japanese occupiers, the military assistants to them. But some, unfortunately, were evacuated by the British to India and kept as like prisoners of war. So, a few thousand of them were actually shipped to India and stay in the intern camps, yeah, concentration camps. And anyway, it was a really a real disaster. The whole Japanese community was uprooted. I think we need to look at the Japanese history in not just Penang but in Malaysia in the correct perspectives. We need to look at them, like separate them into three different eras. Those who came before the Second World War, those who came during the war, and those who came after the war. Because you can see these three groups of Japanese, they play different roles. Before the war, they were just like any migrant society. They came to Penang looking for a living. Unfortunately, because many of the girls were poor, they were involved in the prostitution. But we also see the professional Japanese who came later than that and offer professional services, investors to help to grow the economy of Penang. But the Second World War was a really bad thing, but it was not the intention of all the Japanese to see this invasion happen in our country. After the war, we're seeing a new wave of Japanese coming to Malaysia to set up factories, and they are one of the biggest investors in Penang as well. So I think overall we can see there's some positive results from the early settlements, and also in the 1970s when they started to come back. So let's look at the Japanese history and know how to separate the different eras when they came and what did they do. Yeah.